Hello, and welcome to this podcast series celebrating the 30th anniversary of the National Fairground and Circus Archive. In this episode, our answer talks to Anthony Harris, born in 1940 to Elias and Evelyn Harris, a fairground family from Hounslow in London. Anthony first got involved in the family business as a child, learning to be a wall of death rider from his father. In the early 1960s, Anthony took an apprenticeship with renowned fairground artist Fred Fowle, from whom he learnt the traditional art of fairground painting. He used his painting skills for the rest of his career, refreshing the family rides and lorries in the winter breaks and later teaching them to his sons. Anthony married Christina Shaw, the daughter of Walter Shaw, a showman from the Lancashire area, in 1968. By this time, Anthony was travelling several fairground rides with the Collins Fun Fair, and the two families had created strong ties. Anthony and Christina had 3 sons, Michael, Charles and Anthony Jr. The family business prospered between the 60s and the 70s. And in 1979, Elias retired and Anthony decided to partner up with Pat Collins' grandson, Patrick Collins, sharing ownership of the famous firm. 4 years later, Anthony became the sole owner of Pat Collins' fun fairs at Rowley Regis. Anthony became a successful and influential showman and over the years served as chairman of the Midlands section of the Showman's Guild of Great Britain, as well as its president. For over 28 years, he worked with the Health and Safety Executive, developing the safety of fairgrounds and amusement parks in the UK, and also served as negotiator, working alongside European showmen to establish a European standard for fun fairs. In 2004, Anthony became councillor for Walsall Borough Council for the Conservative Party. In October 2012, he was appointed Leisure and Culture Portfolio Holder following the resignation of Councillor Barry Sanders. In May 2024, he was appointed Mayor of Walsall. Anthony also sat for many years on the advisory committee of the National Fairground and Circus Archive at Sheffield University, where he still serves as Advisor Emeritus. Although in the 21st century Pat Collins Fun Fairs is mainly managed by Anthony's sons, he still takes active part in some aspects of the business.
So, Anthony, what's your connection to the archive?
30 years with my dear friend Graham Downey, who I've been a friend of for more decades than I'd like to remember. It was a brilliant idea in its conception, and of course, being a very close friend, my family and my wife's family with Vanessa Toulmin, who really initiated this with Graham, the pair of them, that there should be something more permanent in terms of memorabilia and history, heritage, etc. It's been a long experience, and it's been very educational, being a university, and intellectual, and it's taken our business from a level to a greater level, and it's been fantastic source for international groups, national groups, educational authorities, schools, and it's, as I understand it, although I've stood down during this period as mayor, my interest in what they do never ceased to be involved when I'm given the opportunity, obviously. So this is an opportunity to expand on showmen just don't move fairs about, they do other things. And there are many of them in all our areas, all credit to them, that get involved locally, politically, socially, and historically. And that's an essential need that we need in our business to get rid of sometimes unfounded stigmas that shouldn't be there, because we are a unique culture as unique as the miners, as unique as the farmers, as unique as any other group within society. It's so valuable. It's inestimably valuable to show business as a culture.
Anthony, going back 30 years, can you tell us about the beginning of the archive, how it was founded, because you were involved in that?
Well, I mean, in the beginning, it was an unknown factor how we addressed it. We had many management meetings and discussed the way forward, what would be the benefits of it if we could get it kicking it off. And we didn't have an agenda, really. We just had a plain piece of paper. And what with the archives, the university was 100% behind getting this collection, and they've been so helpful and available for the resources. It's been incredible, and all credit to them. But we really had this blank piece of paper and said, what are we doing it for, and what's the point of it? Well, when I was on health and safety for 28 years, my policy and structure of negotiation was a ladder, one rung at a time. You go from one, you achieve that, you step up to the next one. And that was the same with the archives. First of all, before you archive it, you've got to get some material. We needed posters, we needed history, we needed books, we needed people to interview, which Graham and his associates did magnificently in that bridge building between, because there is a chasm. I like to think it's not as wide as it was 30 years ago, but the misconceptions of an industry that cannot get involved for logistical reasons in local events because they're not there long enough. It takes us 10 years to get a relationship that being in a house and the community would take 12 months. So it's time factors and things change and rules and laws. So we gradually built up, persuading people to let us have their photographs and their memorabilia from historical events that local showmen throughout the country have been involved in. So it was a massive project to get where I like to think the archives are now. When I drove there in my car and I'm on the university car park, I thought, Christ, I haven't got a degree here in anything, only a lifetime of experience. I just came out, we did 11 plus and all that sort of stuff, but I didn't have any university degrees. But I thought, if they can do it and they want me here, there must be a need. They want me to find out, Graham, what it's all about. Through Vanessa, who had the background as well. And it was daunting. It was daunting. At the beginning, I can honestly say I felt a bit intimidated by this, the intellectual brain power here. And sometimes the conversations start kicking off. I thought, Christ, I think I'm invisible. But as time went on and our lifetime of experience coming out into the system changed the view of the people that we were talking to, Graham and I. All of a sudden, I don't know at what stage, but a mutual respect kicked in that you don't have to have a degree to communicate with somebody with a degree. As long as you're using common sense and trying to speak some sort of honesty, then this works. To some people, I would say it would have been something that they would have turned down in the beginning. But I welcomed it because it's in my aspirations for the business to be recognised. And the archives are a living entity. It changes, it evolves. And although where I am now makes me very proud and honoured for what I'm doing now, but this is part of the tool of the trade. With the archives and the information, I give cards out to people that come here. They don't know. I hope to think they do now when they've been in contact with you or they've had a card and they go on the internet and whatever with IT. It's a bridge building exercise.
Going back to, you've mentioned this a little bit, you mentioned about your role now, about being Mayor of Walsall. Can you tell us a little bit about this? Also, that there seems to be quite a bit of tradition of showmen getting involved in politics. Of course, your great-grandfather, Pat Collins, was also the mayor of Walsall. So what does that signify for the showmen and for the community?
Well, the first thing it shows is it can be done. You can get this bridge filled in and work from one side to the other. Walsall, when you take Pat Collins, pre-NHS, pre-Labour, pre-everything. So to be and help the community, Pat Collins was renowned for his philanthropy, and he invested a lot. I mean, we were the first who used organ recitals, went to the local hospital, church. He did his work during the war, which is on record. It is alleged that in his period of time as a showman, and while he was mayor, he gave away £1 million. Now, £1 million then, we're talking 38. He stood on the front of this very building on the first tank, as defined by Churchill, we'll call it a tank, and was selling war bonds. And the family in 1914 or 16, around that circa time, provided £7,000 on the day for war bonds. War bonds were a way of getting money for the local community to raise money to finance the war that was going on in that time. And then after the war, you got paid back. I don't know whether you got interest, but it was very minimal. But you gave money and they collected. They went all around the country. Tubey did it in the northeast. Showman did it all over the country, buying these war bonds. He started it off. There's limitless opportunities for us as an industry, as a small business, as innovators, to project and improve our image. And by definition, once you improve the image, the access and the gates and the doors open to opportunities all over the place. Locally, we're no different. So the archives, as an opportunity, shouldn't just stop at Sheffield. And I'm sure it is available. Does the archive promote enough? That's the question that can be looked at. Do other universities ought to be pulled into this? Did local authorities, school and education purpose? I mean, we've got people going around with education, but it's never formalised. It's not part of the curriculum. So, are you valuable? I can't overemphasise how important it is. And all credit to Sheffield University and Graham and Vanessa and all of you that take active part in promoting what is something that should be recognised by the cultural important people of this country. What's the point of having a Minister for Culture if he doesn't recognise all the cultures?
What do you hope for the archive in the future?
A partnership. I was going to say support. No, that's arrogant. I would say a partnership. It's a collective partnership of all aspects of those that are interested, those that are fans, those that are intellectually, educational purposes. Going forward, we've got to use the archives more than we are doing as a culture. You are the bedrock of the opportunity and the evidence of what we've been doing for centuries. It goes back not just decades, centuries, from when we had the fairs on the Thames when it froze over. You've got to have an information base that's credible, truthful, and honourable. What I resent most, and I've always resented it, is attempting to put me in a box with somebody else. I believe we're unique in as much as we're a little bit different than the firemen, the farmers, the colliers, anybody in any area, the saddlers in Walsall. They've got their own intimate culture. And I think our problem is we're the whole of the country, 10 of us, all connected, linked into one basic culture. There's not a great difference between the Midland area or the London area or the Scottish area. We're all doing the same thing and we're all on the same page. Well, as we've got the circuses now, very similar. Couldn't get any similar. We've got the fairs, we've got the history of the boxing show, we've got the history of all other aspects of the engineering, of the artwork. I mean, just look at the artwork alone, how important that should be in schools. I mean, I went and did a full day at Yarnet with 70 kids with a dart, a pencil, chalk and some brown paper, just to show them how to make a pattern. A pattern that was designed by Michelangelo when he painted the Sistine Chapel. And here we are with Showman using the same system to this day. And the kids were absolutely fascinated with it. I mean, what's more boring than going into a classroom? Oh, I've been there. And all this is books and there's no colour, there's no atmosphere, no reason, no opportunity to be creative. I just think marvellous opportunities for the world to become partners with us in this social activity that's going on. So, am I optimistic? Yes, I hope so. I hope it's changing. The culture, the opportunities, or what's on the fairground is changing. But people crave for something nice, comfortable and safe. And a day out at the fair, the carnival, the event, the circus is a special treat now. We should treasure it and do more of this as Showman. Be involved, don't have to be a mayor. Just get involved, local charity, anything. But if I can do it, all I'm saying is anybody can do it if you've got the drive and enthusiasm. So why not go for it? All the fun of the fair and keeping the flag flying. That was my honour to John Collins when he died. Keep the flag flying. And that's still there now, more than ever. Very proud of it. And I'm proud to be associated with the archives. I was very privileged when they invited me to sit on it with my friends, because it was only the two of us with the rest. And there we are, so I'm sitting with professors and doctors of this and professors of that. And they were learning off of us. It was interesting. It was a reverse process because there wasn't any archive anywhere else to pursue the information that we needed to build this into a PhD on Fairground. What a marvellous thing to get a degree on. We're unique.
Thank you for listening. For more information on the archive, please visit the University of Sheffield website at www.sheffield.ac.uk.